Oh, here we are. Look at this. Oh, I need a haircut. Can't get to the hairdressers. Doesn't really matter. Hey, it's a big show. Big show tonight. We have Braden on. We've got a fair few. Braden always turns up with some gifts for you guys that are out there watching. So make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on tonight, because we have bait junkie galores to give away. So making sure that you stay on. We will be giving them away throughout. There is, I've been informed, well over $500 worth of plastics to give away on tonight's show at some stage. So we're not sure how we're going to give them away. One of the ways that we're going to give some stuff away is through the postcode. So make sure that you put your postcodes on, and make sure you're asking questions, because if you're not asking questions, you don't have a chance of winning any of the great stuff that we're going to give away. So what you do have to do is follow us, comment, get all that stuff going, tag your friends, tell everyone about it. There is $500 worth of Bait Junkie plastics to give away on tonight's show. We're still not out there to, the masses. So make sure you give us a bit of a share or a thumbs up with what's going on. Kevin says, I'm pretty sure you'd be all over him, Kev. Let's see who's on tonight. We've got Janae, Alion, Scott, Glenn, Greg, Sue, Zach. We've got heaps on. Who else? Fred, Luke, Colin, Shane, Kevin, Neil. The new colours. Well, we'll be talking about the new colours, Kev. I'm glad to see you're all over that. So, as I said, put your postcode in with a chance to win some prizes. Harry's Wheel coming up later on. There might be the option to upgrade or maybe pick a box scenario for like they used to do on the old Hey It's Saturday, where you spin the wheel and you might be able to pick the box and win the Diawa prize from there. So everyone's in there saying hello. So, look, we better get him on, have a bit of a chat, because, we've been in lockdown here, and although this lockdown hasn't been as hard as the previous lockdowns for us, it's really, really got me down, and I've decided to make sure that I'm out there talking to other people and making sure they're all right. Now, these guys are up in Sydney, so they're doing it tough, and probably going to be doing it tough for a fairly long time as well. So I thought I'd get Braden on to have a bit of a chat and see what he's been up to since last year. Let's get this going. Let's make sure I do this right. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, good. I'm hoping Tommy's turned off all his streaming upstairs to ease up on your Wi-Fi to make sure it doesn't glitch out too much. We do apologise for any of the glitchiness at both ends. It's probably because everyone in Sydney is on their internet at this time of night because they've got nothing else to do, mate.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do at the minute, and streaming's probably as exciting as it's going to get, I think, at the moment. So Tom and George are probably sitting upstairs just twiddling their thumbs. So
yeah, for sure. So tell us what's been like for you. You this is realistically your first real stint at maybe a long-term lockdown. How have you gone with your thought process going forward? Is it like I don't know how many times it's gone through my head, should I have left Queensland?
Look, I'm not going to lie. Like the first day at Diawa, when I moved down, I was at the office, and then that's when they announced that the first big lockdown was going to happen. And then so Brett, Tom, and I were working at home here for whatever, I don't even know however long the first lockdown was for. And so this is like the second big one, I guess now. I think Tom and I are really grateful where we are. We're only 10 minutes away from the office, so we can zip in and out when we need to. It's well within our 10-kilometre circumference, and so if we need to go there, there's limited staff there. All the warehouse guys are there, and the warehouse manager. But other than that, the whole upstairs is pretty much gutted, and nobody's up there. And like today, we went in today and filmed all our new product releases. So keep an eye out for that in the coming month. But it hasn't been too bad. I mean, it hasn't really affected the way that I or Tommy do things around here too much, because I've still got the beach close by. It's probably, if anything, it's affected my bass fishing way too much, which is not good because there's no bass. Oh, there's a little dam down the road here, but I've never been there. But it's that's probably the biggest thing that it's affected, to tell you the truth. So, but I think it's more so just the limitations that it kind of feels like it's put on you, that you can't go and do things like I can't shoot out to Glenbourne or St Clair.
Yeah.
And just kind of those type of limitations. But other than that, it hasn't been too bad. You just got to do what you got to do and get through it. So.
Yeah, that's the attitude you got to have. It is stressful, but you know, the thing that sort of got me through that, I know it was stressful for everyone else as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know, it's not just you going through the pain. Everyone's going through the pain. Everyone's doing it tough. And things like this, having, you know, face chats and FaceTimes and Zoom meetings and stuff. I know during the last lockdown, I got that bored that I actually contacted a heap of old footy mates from 20 years ago, and we had a beer together from all over Australia, which is something you probably wouldn't have done, you know, 20 years ago.
That's exactly, yeah. But then you wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for lockdown either. So, which is really handy.
Yeah, yeah. So there's you know, you can always look for the glass half full, and that's where I'm at. Get your questions in, guys. If you got any, I know that there was questions a couple of weeks ago, and I said I'd get him on. There was a few Diawa questions. I'm pretty sure that person's already put their postcode in there. So they had some Diawa questions. I think they were real questions. So if you've got any questions, now's the opportunity for you all to have a bit of a, I don't know, a type on your keyboard and put a few questions in there, because we've got one of the guys. Obviously, if you're not able to answer the question, you could just yell out the back, and Tommy might run down the stairs and come and help. But I'm sure between us two, we can make up an answer.
Yeah, I'm happy to make them up, and I'm sure Tommy's probably literally on the other side of that door with the glass on it and listening to me. So if not, at worst, he's upstairs watching right now. So I'm sure I'm going to hear about it if I say something wrong. So
That's it. So don't forget to get your questions in, especially on your Diawa products. Now, you said, I know we can't talk about stuff that you're releasing before release dates, but we can talk about some of the new colors that you've got out in the Bait Junkie. You've got it in nearly everything, new colors and everything, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. So we just announced, I think it was on Friday, that we've got two new models coming to the range. So it's the 4.2 inch and the 6.2 inch minnow. I've got them here now. They're minnow styles, paddle tail, segmented tail, or segmented waist there, sorry. And they're very similar to the 3.2 inch minnows, but at the same time a little bit different. They're a different plastic to the standard Bait Junkie that everybody would be used to. The standard Bait Junkies are they're a bit more of a softer one, but to get the action that we wanted in these, we went to a little bit tougher, harder plastic. They're still 10 times tougher, or not 10 times tougher, I shouldn't say that. They're still stretchy and whatnot, and very durable. But just because the paddle tail was so big and we made it that little bit thicker, we had to go to the little bit more durable or heavier plastic, so it could actually handle the body roll a bit better, because we found on a super slow roll on the 6.2 inch it would be a really good action, but if you got to even just a standard slow roll, it would kind of blow out a bit. So we went up to a little bit more rigid plastic, and it can handle the speed a bit better. And these things are really good. We just filmed some swimming videos as well last week, and so it really shows what they're capable of, and I'm really excited for them, to say the truth. I was supposed to be up in Queensland right now for a trip, and I was going to take a whole boat full of them and go barra fishing, but obviously that didn't happen. But so there's 15 colours in the 4.2 inch minnow. There's there's 18 colours in 4.2 inch, 15 colours in the 6.2 inch. And again in the standard one, so the 7-inch jerk shads, the ones that everybody knows already, the 5-inch jerk shads, the 4-inch grubs, 3.2 inch minnows, and 2.5 inch minnows and grubs. I think it's 12 new colours in those as well. So it's really exciting, and that's going to be part of the giveaway tonight. So every single 4.2 inch, 6.2 inch, and all the new colours in the existing range. So I think it's, what did we say before, Corey? I think it was 55 packs of plastic or something like that.
Yeah, 55 packs of plastic. So now we're gonna straight up. I'm gonna put the thing in here. We're not gonna send out 55 packs of plastic to 55 individual people because that's the postage on that. We might try and break that up somehow during the night to maybe 3 separate prizes because that's just fair, I think.
That's what I think too. Let's share it around a bit. There's enough there for everyone. So
we might just mix and match those packs, and we can send them out at random. But there's nothing in there that's not going to suit anyone. I mean, for the guys that that you can be using them for flathead, you could be using them for brim. For the inland guys, I love those bigger ones for the cod. There's plenty of different options out there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. To be honest, those 6.2s, I think if you put them on a weedless hook and with a trailing treble underneath as a stinger, I honestly think they definitely have the action that you need for a cod, just a slow roll. Whether you want to use them on the surface or bomb them down, they'll do it for you. So they've just got a good thump and just a good action about them. They'll definitely do it. So
awesome. Just going through the list, looking down. Here's Alien's got one. With all the lockdowns, have you found a major hit to Daiwa's sales as a whole, or have the sales increased? So are you thinking about what's happening in the fishing industry? Not bad for a young fella.
Yeah, so we haven't been going too bad, to say the truth. I think with lockdown, everybody's trying to find an outlet or something to do that they can do, I guess, with restrictions. And fishing is luckily in most of the areas in Australia one of those things that people can do. So the fishing industry is actually going really, really well at the moment. It's more of a struggle getting stock on some things, and then the other things with COVID is delays and making sure that things come on time and stuff like that. So it's more so COVID's probably affected the fishing industry more so on that level than sales is just being able to get things on time, and even just the quantity of things that we've ordered, because obviously the rest of the world's going through this as well, and that can be a bit of a struggle at the minute. But generally it's going really well, so there's not too many complaints.
No, and I think you're right. I think that's industry, not just the fishing industry. I know people that have been looking to try and buy cars. They can't get second-hand cars.
Yep.
There's a 6-month wait on new cars. Same with the boats. It's the problem of we're importing more than we're exporting at the moment because everyone's shut down and can't work. So there's overload of containers at docks and everything else. It gets quite complicated.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I know. I don't deal with that type of stuff at work too much, but I know that we've had to actually drive a couple of containers up from Melbourne and stuff like that instead of having been able to get them shipped here, and it's just because of just being able to get them here. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I actually heard. I think it was Honda outboards. They actually had to do it from Perth. The container was supposed to land at Sydney, and they couldn't get it offloaded in Sydney in time. So it went all the way around to Perth, got unloaded there, and they had to then truck it all the way across Australia just to get there. Just crazy stuff. So
the joys of it.
Yeah. Scotty's got a question here. Are cod still scoffing mice? Is the plague over? To be truthful, Scotty, I haven't been able to go out for a fish, so I can't tell you. But I would definitely say with the amount of rain in the Albury-Wodonga region that we've had over the last month, I think Hume's gone up something like 5%. Now, that is probably more water than Boondooma's got in it. So, it's when it's full. So I'd say they were waiting for the rain to come. So down here, it just depend on what's happening further up. Have you got any reports on the mice plague up around Glenbourne or anything?
No, I haven't really heard, but too much to tell you the honest truth. I have been thinking about Glenbourne lately, but to tell you the truth, and just the steady rise or steady, I guess how steady the dam is. I'm really looking forward to lockdown ending and to get out there for spring, to tell you the truth, because I think it's going to be a really good bite out there. So.
Oh, look, and yeah, there's a couple of things that I'm really looking forward to after lockdown. One is getting to Glenbourne for sure. Yeah. 2 is fishing Windermere again. I mean, it's been 12 months since I've been able to get to Windermere. Just love fishing that dam. But my prediction this year alone will be Lake Hume is going to go off its tits for yellowbelly, and they're going to be big. They're going to be fat. They're going to be real football fish. And I'm honestly thinking that there's going to be, 700s pulled out of Hume this year. It's going to be absolutely crazy because we've had the influx of redfin. They've spawned 4 times this year. The redfin have spawned 4 times in plague proportions. The guys are out there trolling up that can get out there are trolling up the trout at the moment. They're catching lots of 750s in the browns just by trolling. They're all fat because they've been eating redfin. And I think the yellows are going to be doing the same thing. So I'm going to spend a lot of time, I think, at Hume. I honestly think by Christmas, if I haven't broken my 680 PB for yellowbelly, I'll go eat because those fish will be absolutely massive.
That's a big yellowbelly.
You should see these yellows. We used to catch them. Yeah, we used to get up there at Boondooma and Somerset. So 550, it's huge, mate. Yeah, wait till you get into that mid 650 range and you start catching them. They're just crazy fish. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I thought like 50s was a when you buy catching it for bass. Yeah.
And look, one thing that I do, I can't say Hume because I haven't caught enough yellows there to notice it, but definitely at Windermere, everyone goes, "Oh, yellows don't fight." Well, you haven't fished Windermere in spring. If you want to pop lines more than anything else because they're big fish, and if you're not paying attention, they just straighten ZX hooks. It's just crazy.
Good.
Yeah. Zach wants to know, for a big bait reel, what would you run for a mid price and why?
Yeah, I actually read this one before, and I was just having a quick peruse through. And to tell you the truth, we've got our Tatula range is very big. We've got everything from a 100 all the way up to the 400 size, which is our biggest low-profile bait caster reel that we do. And it would honestly be one of those, either the 300 tat or the 400 tat. They'll handle the biggest of baits that you want to throw for cod or whatever your target species is. And but it's really handy because at the same time they're very palmable. They're still a low-profile reel that you can throw all day and you're not going to have any issues with. They'll handle the big baits. They've still got a good size spool on them, so you can still fit a heap of line on them. And they're still really, really good value for money. They're about $400, and that'll definitely get you through with what you want to do. So that's what I'd be doing.
Yep. Now for sure. So we've got to talk about this. Everyone has a different view on price range. Now, when we talk, so there are RRP around that $400 mark. What's your most expensive reel in the range?
So with like low profile bait casters,
obviously we're not talking about the big stuff.
So with bait casters, it's about $900, $850, $900. That's for a Steez. But with the spinning, it's an Exister. I don't know the exact, but I think they're about $1,000. And then if you want to go saltwater, they're up to $1,500 with the Stellars. Sorry, with the Stellars, I shouldn't say that. Tom will be laughing right now. With the Saltigas. So that's how I generally run them. Like if someone says mid price, I think about the cheapest. I think about the expensive, and then mid is. That's why
I was trying to clear that up, just so people understand, because everyone has a different sort of view on what mid range is. That's definitely the mid range in it's a beast of a reel. That's, and I say buy the best you can possibly afford. If you can definitely afford that $1,000 marks, well, go out and buy it. But
exactly right. It's the best reel that you can have is the best one you can afford. That's what I personally think as well. So saying that, that's not saying that a cheaper reel isn't going to do the job that you need it to do. So, like I personally think there's still a limit. Like I have access to using every one of my bait casters to be a Steez or every one of my spin reels to be an Exist, but I just personally don't need that. Like I fish for bass, you know what I mean? I'm more than happy using Tatulas the alphases and stuff like that, because I just know that I don't need to, I can put another 4 rods on my deck instead of having, but still that stuff's still going to definitely get the job done with no issues at all. Like we've got a new bait caster, like an entry level budget bait caster coming out, and I pick it up when we were filming it today, and I'm like, this thing is like, I would have no problems having a boat full of these, and I think they're like $90 or something like that. They're nothing. So it will definitely get the job done. So.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, if you're not fishing for the old sheep station type scenario in the tournament thing, and you're not worried about a couple 100 grams or a couple inches in length, I mean, there is no need to, as you said, you can buy 4 of the other for the same thing. So
that's exactly right. But see, the other things I think about there is when you're starting to get into cod or barra and you want to throw the bigger baits, you need to. That's kind of the deciding factor when I would look at upgrading to a more user-friendly reel, because if you don't want to go your 100 sizes, or even if you're going to be throwing extra big baits, your 150 sizes, because just the sizes of the clutch and just the mechanics of it just can't handle the weight of the bait. Like you can throw it fine, but it's just like it's just like the power that it needs to be able to stop it and throw it properly and stuff like that. You physically need to go up the size so it can just handle the weight of it, to tell you the truth. Because I've gone barra fishing with 100 size reels, and I'm like, I'm going to throw this swim bait, and literally an hour in, the reel just sounds just like it's going to give up on you. And that's just from throwing it. That's not even from catching a fish.
Yeah.
So it's just about being able to handle it.
Yeah, definitely. It's the stuff that we don't, as your normal angler or your outside of tournament hours and whatnot. It's the stuff that you don't think about. That's what goes into the technology. If you guys sit there, I know we talked to Tommy last year about his whole rod range and everything that he puts into that. There's a lot more in building a rod than just getting a old piece of friggin' fiberglass and putting some rings on it.
That's it.
There's a whole thing that goes in, especially with those reels. Right. Yeah.
There is so much that goes into it. It's absolutely crazy. So it's not just about, like you said, getting a bit of graphite or a bit of fiberglass, throwing some guides on it and a reel seat, and away you go. There's a lot of technology and a lot of intricate parts that go into it that make a good rod good. So
yeah, for sure. I'm hoping everyone's my audio at this end is absolutely spotless. I'm getting the audio, but the picture is dropping in and out. So I'm just making sure that everyone's out there is able to hear all your answers, because that's the main thing. Brandon Scott wants to know, what do you feel your biggest responsibility as a sponsored angler is? So obviously, Brandon's looking at sponsorship and whatnot. What do you think your biggest responsibility is?
Yeah, so I've had this question a little bit, to tell you the truth, just from just people messaging me, and if I just see somebody and they ask. To be honest, I think just do what you're comfortable doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's a company's not just going to give you product and then there needs to be an exchange, and I think it needs to be a reasonable exchange. You're going to provide them with something as well. And I think just do what you can, whether that's with images or with videos and stuff like that, and put back just a reasonable amount what you think needs to be put back into it. That's probably my bit of knowledge there that I've kind of found out, and just be genuine, to tell you the truth. So that's probably what I'd say.
Key word: genuine, honest,
100% genuine. So
it comes across. If you're honest and genuine in anything you do when it comes to social media and that sort of stuff, it comes across. People can see through the lies and the fibs, and then you don't get yourself into any sort of arguments on Facebook in the sense that you're hanging the wrong lure in a fish's mouth or whatnot.
That's exactly to get
right. that happy photo.
Unfortunately, this is the fishing industry, and I know a lot of you will know what I mean by that when I say that, and it's the fishing industry. So, I've only been fully in it for about a year and a half now, but I was a sponsored angler and an ambassador before that. But yeah, I think just honestly, just be genuine and just be honest about everything like that, and do right. I think, and a lot of you know what that will mean. Just do right. So I think that's probably the best knowledge that I could pass on. So.
For sure. All right, I've got to do, it's about halfway, so we're about 8:30, so I've got to do the postcode prize. For those that don't know how the postcode prize works, it's Harry sits inside and he reads all the postcodes as you put them up, and he sends them to me on the phone. So occasionally you'll see me there looking at the phone, not paying attention to what anyone's doing. But the postcode prize this week goes to Shannon Pumper from Cobar or Cobar. It's 2835. So Shannon, if you can send me a message to Corey Sam Fishing Facebook page with your address, I will get some soft plastic sent out to you. We'll organise what it actually is. I'm not going to announce who gets what prizes throughout the night. I'm just going to name the people, and we'll then at the end of the night, after we get off the air, we'll decide who's getting what. So it'll be I think that's the fairest way to do it. Don't forget, get on here. We can stay on as long as you need to get through all the questions, as long as they're relevant questions. And, that's what we're here for. Kevin wants to know, when are you releasing the bent minnow, like the Jackie, the Burley, or the Hurricane?
We don't have anything planned. Put it that way. So, there's enough out there already. So
that's it. That's just, there's good question from Kevin. I'll put him on the short list. If you like that one, that's all good. Yeah. Will we be seeing a left-handed 400 Tatula reel in Oz anytime soon, or will I have to settle for the 300?
I haven't heard anything. Yeah, I haven't heard anything in the left-hand 400 Tats at all. We only have the one model, being the H, being the high model. And I haven't heard anything being a left, unfortunately. So the 300 is the biggest left hand that we do at the minute, other than the Lexa. I'm pretty sure that we do a left hand Lexa. But yeah, it'll be the 300 at the moment. So.
And Jack, that's your fault for being a cack-hander. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what I think.
No, look, I fish with Benny. He's the same. He fishes back to front, and it's quite funny. In situations when you've got one right and one left on the boat, and so you snap off and you pick up your mate's rod and you try and throw it and it's upside down. It's like, just terrible.
I feel that. That's the same as Tom and Brett. Like, they're left-handers as well, and like I went Jew fishing the other night, and with Brett we were doing a bit of filming for the new minnows, and we were with some other boys, and they're all right-hander as well, and it was a bit slow, and Brett picked up one of the rods, and it was a right hand, and he hooked I think it was like a 1.4 or 1.5 Jew or something like that. And but he's lucky because he was left and then he changed to he was right and then changed to left, so he kind of doesn't look anywhere near as unorthodox as we would, Corey, when we reel a left.
Yeah, turn it over.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
I'm moving the rod and holding my hand still. So
yeah,
Scotty wants to know, has the Tatula 300 come out yet?
Yes, it definitely has. There's 3 models. It's there's 2, right? So there's a high speed, and also just the standard speed being the 6.3, so a 6.3 and a 7.1, and there's also a high left hand, which is a 7.1 left hand. So there's 3 models.
All right, what else have we got? Chris Senior wants to know, will Diawa be developing a jig trailer? So we're obviously talking about a 2-arm flappy thing that apparently looks like Abby.
A craw style. Well, in this release, there isn't, put it that way. There might be something in the future. It's more so you can on a jig, but it's not super jiggy for bass and yellow belly and stuff like that. It's going to be more saltwater scene kind of thing. If anybody is going to do it, it would definitely be Tom. But at the moment, I can't say too much. So, but there's potential for the future. Let's put it that way. So.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, you were throwing jigs before most people in Australia knew about them. You guys were were all over it like a red rash. You had your own little secret society stuff going there for a while. But do you believe in the two-clawed trailer type situation? Because I'm not as established as you with the jig fishing, but I sometimes found that just the plain old curly tail was just as good.
Yeah, look, I know a lot of guys use the curly tail. I haven't done a heap of the curl tail because I know a lot of guys just gulp my nose on it.
Yeah.
I personally just use a trailer and this is probably 99% of the time, to tell you the honest truth, just to bulk the skirt out. I don't look for anything that's super long, and I don't look for anything that the legs have to go out past it and have all this action and anything. Personally, I'd rather a trailer that doesn't have any action at all, because I'm just there just to see that the skirt's bowled out a bit, and it is just a profile thing for me.
Yeah.
So depending, like I've done a bit of swim jigging as well, like St. Clair before the lockdown. The water come up a bit, and the fish were eating really, really well in like a foot of water, and I was throwing swim jigs in that there, and that's where you can throw a bit more of an action and whatnot. But for just a standard football or hybrid style jig, I generally just go for the bulk out. I don't go for much action, to tell you the truth. So
yeah, for sure. There you go. There's a great answer. We're working our way down. Oh, Shannon wants to know, what jig heads do you run?
Yeah, so I'll do it, but I'm not a massive soft plastic kind of guy. In Queensland, it was a lot less than what I have to do down here, because Glenbourne and St. Clair's are very, smelt kind of bite on the edge with a quarter ounce or a 1/6 or even a 1/8 jig head. That 2 to 2.5 inch profile. Typically, I'll just use a little painted jig head. In the past, I get like the dipper, you heat them up and you dip it in and whatnot. So I'll just use anything like that, anything in a 1/8, 1/6 quarter at a pinch. I know Tommy loves using a quarter religiously. But yeah, that's what I like, a little bit more lifelike, and just gives the plastic that little bit extra. So, but other than that, it's kind of
sure.
Pretty generic, to tell you the truth. So
there you go. There you go. Warren says the new minnows better to be fished weedless or standard jig head, and best jig head weights. So let's go back. I think Warren had a question early on about Barra, so he might be talking Barra.
Yeah. So with the 6.2 in a standard jig head, you can fit a 6.0 or an 8.0 as like a traditional jig head. If you want to go an 1/8, if you want to fish over the weed, nice and shallow. Or if you want to bomb it on a 3/8 or a quarter, or a half or something like that. But in like an EWG or a weedless, you can fit a 7.0 or no, so it can take quite a big hook, and you could probably even go a touch bigger if you go a screw lock, because as we know, the hook will move forward with the screw lock being there. So and it is a bit tough to get a screw lock into our bait junkie material, but when you get it in there, where I can, I always opt for a screw lock, just because it just holds, like it just stays in there, and it goes really, really well. So you can fit a really big size hook in those things, and it depends they kind of have kind of the same action, whether you go a traditional jig head or an EWG. Like I was fishing for flathead the other day with just a standard jig head in, and it went fine. And then we did some filming with an EWG in it, and it just got the same action. So it's kind of tomatoes, more so, I'd say more so structure related, if you want to bring it through things, for more so action. So
yep, for sure. All right, so that's a great one from Warren. Well, now we've got a couple of people I think have asked the same question. I think Rebecca and Kevin have both asked the same question. I found the curl tails keep sticking to the back of the grub. Can you suggest any way to stop this from happening?
Yes. So when you use them a bit, the oil kind of dries out a touch on them, and then it ends up sticking a touch. If you just throw a little bit more scent on there, just a scent of your choice, that'll end up giving it a little bit more, I guess it'll just stop it from sticking a bit better. So that's probably the best thing that I've come across, to tell you the truth. So yeah, but it does dry out a little bit and wear off after a touch.
So is that from leaving them out? Like you've got your soft shell pack to keep them all nice and fresh. If you don't keep them in that, do they dry out just that little bit on the outside and make them tacky? Is that
so I always keep them, like I've just got I've got like a bag that I keep them all in, and you can see there like there's all juice and stuff in there and whatnot. I'll always keep them in there, not only to keep them with as much oil and as much scent in them as possible, but more so just to keep them straight, because we all know that plastics, as soon as you take them out or do this, like I've got a 5-inch mag draft here that I've been kind of frothing on throwing at Glenbourne for a while, and I've been having it hanging here and the tails and I'm just filthy about that because it's like it's a one plastic bait and it's like they're expensive just for a single bait kind of thing. And I've just had it hanging here next to me for a couple of weeks, hoping that it'll just kind of straighten out, but I know it won't. But where you can, honestly, keep them in their clamshells. That's what they're made for, and it will always keep a true bait. But at the same time, it'll keep the scent in there as much as they can as well. So
and for people who don't actually realise that, Tommy's put a lot of work into getting that scent into those baits as well. So
that's exactly right. Like it's infused into the material itself, but at the same time we put an oil on it too. So keeping them in there as much as possible will stop them from drying out. So
100%. So that was both Rebecca and Kev both asked that questions. Warren says, when will the new bait junkies hit the shops?
Yes, so the bait junkies, they should be in a store near you pretty much from today onwards, to tell you the truth. I know a couple of stores that got them late last week, Thursday, Friday. They should all be in stores that are supporting them today, if not tomorrow. So they should be around.
Yeah,
as I know, I took a video the other week. Actually, I was in the office on when was it? I think it was Wednesday, and there were just pallets and pallets and pallets of boxes. And then I'm like, oh, that's a lot of bait junkies. and that was just the new minnows and the new colours. And then I went down one of the aisles where they're all stored, and again there was on the ground. It was just a massive line of boxes. So there was probably double the amount again that was just set out that was to be put on the shelves, and it was a massive. So, and I know the boys in the warehouse have been working really hard to get them out, so they should be in stores now. So
that's just crazy. That's crazy. We'll go on to James. G'day, Braden. Is Diawa going to have a store at Go Fish Nagambie next year? It's the first part of his question. And is Diawa bringing out any new rods in the new year?
Yeah, so with the Nagambie, we were supposed to be there this year, but because of COVID, obviously, it was a decision that was made that we'd still support the competition, but we weren't going to have a presence there. We did still have a couple of like our marketing manager Kendi did go down, and one of the people from sales did go down as well, and that was just more to just to get a feel of it and just have a presence there on the supporting side of things. But as a stand, because COVID's just so up in the air at the moment, it was just decided that we just wouldn't have a stand there just because there was too many variables and whatnot. I'm not 100% sure on next year. To my knowledge, I think we are going to support it. But yeah, we'll just have to see how COVID is next year, obviously, because as we know, like this time last year, we were in this exact same predicament, and then now in Sydney, it's worse than last year, which is annoying. But yeah, so that's for the Nagambie side of things. With the rods, yeah, so we do have new rods coming this year. There's a couple of light tackle ones coming, a new range of light tackle that people probably haven't seen for a couple of years. We do have a lot of surf stuff coming this year as well, if that's relevant to you. There is a little bit of kind of offshore game rods is coming as well, and also there's a new like a new casting stick bait popper rod as well. So there are some new rods coming. You should see about mid-August we're going to be doing a video. So just stay tuned for that, and that's gonna incorporate our new reels, our rods, our apparel, and our accessories. So
is that going to be a live one like you did last time?
To an extent, yeah. So
that was awesome. I love that. That whole series that was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was really good. There was a lot of pressure. No, it was really good. So to an extent, this year it's going to be similar. But with COVID, obviously, and after being cancelled because we were supposed to be there 2 or 3 weeks ago for after, and that was all come down to the wire pretty hard, and they ended up calling it off, and but it honestly works out for us a lot better because ICAST just happened, which is good for the industry, but for Diawa there was a lot more coming out after ICAST, and personally for one of the meetings that we had at work was like, do we go out right now with the show, with a product show, and showcase all of our stuff? But then we all came to the decision that it just wasn't worth it at the moment because a lot of our product is going to be coming out in the later half of the year. So yeah. we weren't too worried about being first out with a product show or anything like that because we're just going to announce things that are going to come out 5 months later, kind of thing. So we ended up setting a date in August, about mid-August, and that's when we're going to be doing our show, and that's going to be a lot more user friendly for when a lot of our products are coming out. So
awesome. We're going to, because it is a lockdown show, we're going to go a little bit longer than normal because there's still a heap of questions. I see Tommy's doing us a favor. He's in there answered some questions, which is always really cool, which does help. Might be why we can't see anything going on, but let's have a look here. Shane's got a fairly long one, so I'll read this one out. Have not really spent much time or money on plastics, and I think it's due to so many people saying they have to be separated in different boxes so they don't react to each other. My question is, are your plastics similar, or do you have to put them in special storage for?
Yeah. So I know there's a couple of brands out there that plastics need to be separated, or they'll just eat each other, and you'll come back when you use them next, and they're just a pile of just whatever, and they've just leached colours, and everything's happened. To be completely honest, I keep my plastics apart anyways. I always keep them in the same bags that they come in, regardless of the brand or anything like that, because I just like to be on the side of caution. But not only that, you've still got the brand name, the colours, the sizes, all the data that you need of your plastics. You've got them there. I know people that keep the bait junkies together, and I don't think they've had a problem as long as they're the same colour and they're all out of the same packet, which is one of the things. But I think there is a little bit of leaching that happens with colours, because there are some colours that are a lot more kind of dominant, if you know what I mean. They will just suck colour in or either suck colour out. And so where you can, I would keep them apart. But if they're in the same packet and the same, like this here, like with these 4.2s, I would have no problems with emptying them out into a box. But then that's going to come up with the same problem that we had before, like with this dry weather and whatnot. It'll end up getting in there and sucking moisture out and sucking scent out anyway. So plastics will shrink. So where you can, a lot of plastics these days come with your little holes here, and you can put them into binders and stuff like that. So you can end up just kind of flicking through them and finding what you need. And where you can, I'll just leave them in what they come in, and that's regardless of what brand, to tell you the truth. So
yeah, I think they're neater and they stack better. They're easier to go through. I've seriously got boxes of mixed plastics and stuff like that are there that I'll never even open up anymore, because when you've got the nice soft shell stuff, it doesn't matter what it is. You can flick through and go, oh yeah, that's the one I want, and grab it out, rather than going to a tackle box, trying to pull the tackle box out, look through the tackle box.
That's exactly right. And after a year or even 6 months of there being plastic stacked in an actual tackle tray, you'll go through and you'll pick one out, and the tail will be a bit skew-if like that mag draft before, and you'll be like, oh, I'm not going to use that. You throw it back in the box, and you've got to fiddle through and find a straight one, and just stuff like that. And even if you know people that keep plastics or a certain brand of plastics all together in like tackle boxes and stuff like that, I'm just not game of going and spending $200-300 on 10 packs of plastics and then coming out and seeing that they're all melted together or merged colours and you've made some wacky thing out of them. So I'd rather just have a bit of caution and just keep it all as they come, to tell you the truth. So
yeah, no, for sure. Look, everyone's done it. I've done it. You've done it. You put the wrong plastic in the wrong box and you stuff it all up. So
it is, isn't it?
just a nightmare. That's why I tended to, because I am a bit of a redneck, I suppose. So I tended to use gulps a lot because you just had to put them back in a screw lid and put it back in your thing. It was nice and easy. So
that's the handy thing about them. So,
yeah, for sure.
Except for the juice, it gets everywhere.
Yeah, listen, we better do a second prize for the night. So I've picked out a question from earlier on in the night. So we've still got more to do, but this one, the second prize is going to be Zach Lebeek. I think if I've said that right. So Zach was on there earlier. What I'm going to do, Zach, is give you about 3 minutes to write a comment in the comments, and let's give you time to do that. But if you can get it in the next 3 minutes into the comments, I will then award you the second prize of the night. So Shannon Pumper got the first one with the postcode. This one is going to be Zach. Now, I know Tom's been on there helping us out. Tom is admin on your Facebook page, isn't he?
Yeah.
We should do some sort of cross. Facebook page on Instagram. Yeah, we should do some sort of cross promo. Make these guys jump over and put a comment or something on your Facebook page, and then we can pick out the last winner out of that one to make sure that they've all gone over and at least like the Diawa Facebook page at minimum.
Yeah, give me something to think about that's easy that we can think about, like that's right now, to know that it's one of these guys on the Facebook.
Yeah. I'll think about that as we get close to the end of the show, and we'll make that one of the major prizes. So just looking down to the bottom, still looking for Zach. If he doesn't come on in the next minute or so,
come on, mate.
We'll be giving it to somebody else. So let's go back up to the questions while we're waiting for Zach. My mouse has done a bit of a wobbly. Let's check. Where was it? Alex wanted to know, could the American-style Texas rig shaky headworm lures come over into our Aussie bass? Do you think they'll work there?
Yes, I definitely do think that they will work, and I have had success on them. Texas rigs are just a basic jig at the end of the day, whether you pin them or unpin them. That being if you use like a little bobber stopper on the bullet weight, whether it's running or pinned, that's what that means. They're at the end of the day, they're just a jig, to tell you the truth. You can fish them pretty much the exact same, whether you're punching through mat or around weed, whether you're pitching at a tree or in a bush or something like that. They definitely do work, and there's a heap of different style trailers if you want to get action out of them, or if you just want to have them dead stick there if they float or if they sink or this or that. There's a heap of different things you can do there, so they do 100% work. Shaky heads, they do work as well. Whether you want to use a worm or a crawl, again, they're pretty much the same thing. They you just drag them along the bottom, because shaky heads are more so for offshore fishing, whether you're fishing rock piles or a drop off or something like that. So they definitely do work as well, and I've caught a lot of fish on them. So my one comment there would be just experiment, because 90% of other people won't. So where you'll throw a jig, where they'll throw a jig and you throw a shaky head or a Texas rig, you might catch another fish. So
Yeah.
100%, they do work. So
awesome. All right. So Zach is on. He's put his name in the comments, which is really cool. What I'm going to do is we're going to get Harry to spin the wheel, and just because that's what Harry likes to do, that's his little program. But we all know that it's going to be a Diawa prize tonight. So I'm just waiting on Harry turning back up in the back room. He'll be back in a second. So let's go back to the. I think, look, we've got plenty of grub questions there. I think what we'll do with a lot of guys are in there talking just plastics alone, but we will get to answer you individually through the chat, or we'll talk to you and try and answer each of your questions so you don't miss out. But we do have some other stuff that we want to talk about after we've spun the wheel. So just for people that, think that tonight's just all about the bait junkies, we've got some cranks and some new spinner baits that we want to talk about. We'll talk about them after Harry's done his little song and dance and we've pretended to spin the wheel. So I'll send you back into the green room there, Braden, and we'll talk to Harry and then we'll come back.
Cool. Sounds good.
G'day, Harry. How you going?
Oh, I tried to get myself back up.
What's going on?
I'm wearing the hoodie.
Oh, you're in your hoodie.
And I was sitting down. I'm like,
that's all right. I'm not 100% sure that we can see you anyway. The internet's a bit down tonight. So Zach's on, and he's going to win a Diawa prize. We know that, so we probably don't need to spin the wheel, but let's just spin it anyway.
okay, I think I should give it a spin, even though I'm not giving it a spin, but I am.
Rightio. Has it stopped yet?
TV will.
Oh, there we go. It's Diawa. There you go. Well done. Listen, good work, Harry. Listen, you're going to have to go to bed very soon because it is a school night, even though you are homeschooling and I am your principal. So you'll be starting on time tomorrow. Can you bring me out a top-up drink when you're ready, just before you go to bed? Thanks, mate. Everyone's saying g'day too.
Okay. G'day, and I love you all. Bye.
Love you all. Bye. All right. Thanks, mate. Right, there we go. It's a bit of a, should we do the wheel? Shouldn't we do the wheel? Well, we had to do the wheel because the guys have given up all the product, and, that's Harry's little slice of fame. He loves doing his wheel as he goes on. So that's Zach. So, Zach, what you need to do is send me a personal message to Corey Sam Fishing Facebook page with your address, and I will get your prize sent out to you as well. So we've got Shannon and Zach. We've still got one to give away later on in the night. Later on. It doesn't matter what time it is. It's going to be some stage tonight. So that'll be the third prize. I can't thank Dyer enough. So what I would ask you all to do is, after you get off the show tonight, or if you talented enough to do both, jump over, make sure you like the Dial page. It's unreal that these guys help a little show out like me, but I know it's all about sharing and giving information out. But there's over $500 worth of plastics given away tonight, and, probably $1 million worth of knowledge. When you get guys on like this to talk about their products, they'll tell you the ins and outs. So make sure that you get over and jump on all of their Facebook, Instagram, whatever you're on, and we'll do the last program tonight.
The Pepsi stuff.
Thank you, staffer. All right, that'll do me. No worries. Don't hit me with that. Tough. All right, I'm going to get Braden back on. All right, so thank you, Herring. He's in the background. He never leaves me alone. Let's go back up. I'm just reading through some questions. So Zach's and Shannon are going to be walking away with some stuff. You've got some, I suppose, products you want to show. Let's see if the camera's going to work long enough to get this stuff up.
You got me?
Yeah.
So just quickly, I was just having a thought there. How we were talking before about the Facebook page.
Yep.
How about I'll get Tom, because I know Tom's listening right now. If Tom wants to go onto the new post, or the post that we put up on Facebook, it's the 4.2 inch and the 6.2 inch minnow release. So it should be at the top. It's the new minnow style paddle tail bait junkie post.
Yep.
I'll get Tom to comment a comment on there, like what a plastic or what a paddle tail or something like that. And and we'll pick a winner out of whoever likes his comment.
Yes,
so
there you go.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, no, that means that we know they've been on this show and they've been onto your page.
Yep, I think that'll be the easiest. So
So what you're going to be looking for is on the Diawa Facebook page.
Yep. On the Diawa Australia Facebook page, it'll be it's a pinned post at the top, so it should be one of the first ones that you see. It's a bait junkie minnow video, and it's showing the new 4.2 inch and 6.2 inch minnows. So I'm 99% sure Tom's going to be watching right now. So if you can comment something like something about the paddle tails or Chewin the Fat or something like that.
Yep, just look for a comment from Tom Slater. Yep. Yeah,
from tonight, from 9 o'clock.
And there you go.
And then we'll pick a winner, and then that can be there.
Get on there and write a comment on that comment, and then we can pick a winner from there. That's awesome. Let's show us some of the cool new stuff, because we can talk about bait junkies, and as I said, there's heaps of people in here that have got other questions that we'll try and get to if we've got enough time. But show us some of the other products you want to get out there, mate.
Yeah. So being more so yellow belly and cod related down your way, Corey, and your demographic, we've got some exciting new lures that are going to be hitting the market. So we've already got our spinnerbait range, which is our Steez spinnerbaits. Adding to that range, we're going to be running we've got a new, it's called Azrock. Where are we? There we are there. Azrock spinnerbait. So this is it's a bit more of a bigger profile than our Steez one. It's got a single or a big Indiana blade there. It's generally a bit bigger bait, better suited to your yellow belly, and also if you want to throw it for cod. And so this comes in 3/8 and half of an ounce. It comes in 6 different colours. I've got a few. That's a golden black one there. I've got the kind of a blue gilly kind of colour there, and a straight black. So like I said, it's a touch bigger, and it's going to suit the southern market a lot better than our bait now. Like our bait's a lot more kind of Australian bass related, where this is just that bit bigger, bit heavier profile with that big Indiana blade and that smaller Colorado blade there. It's going to put off a heap of thud and a heap of flash in the dirty water. So that one's really excited, and that is kind of skewed towards you guys down there for yellow belly, but also at the same time it's going to be a really good sooty bait with just that bigger profile and that louder noise. It's definitely going to go well. So yeah, again, hand tied skirts as all the Steez products. So it can sit in your box for a year, 2 years, and you don't come back and the rubber band's fallen off or something like that. Yeah, because I know I've definitely had that problem. You want to use that one spinnerbait that you've looked at all the time, but then you pick it up and it falls apart on you. So you got to put it back together. So there are those. Also, a lot of you guys down south will probably know this one. This is the RPM crank. Let's see if we can get a bit less glare there. So there we go. Yeah. There we go. Where are we there? The RPM crank. A lot of you guys will probably know it. 10
just hold that there for a sec. And what I'll do is I will change my view here There we go. People can get a view of it.
Yeah, so the RPM crank. This one's been around for a long time. It kind of died out a little bit. The guys down in South Australia and Victoria still love it, and we still get a lot of questions about when this is coming back and where they can get stock and everything like that. We have done in the past each year kind of one big order because I think it's somewhere down in South Australia that still orders a lot of them, or enough for us to make an indent anyways. And but it's been discussed, and we're going to bring them back this year. They're going to be under the Stees bin now. They're still the same RPM crank that you've come and love. And 10-foot diving. They've got that little bit wider bib. I'm a massive crankbait fisherman, and for bass, and I love a good crankbait. And yeah, it's got the really wide bib there, so these things are going to have a really good wide action, even on a really slow roll. So you can get them down to depth, and then you'll be able to just crawl them over cover, and they're going to deflect really well. They're nice and buoyant, and this is actually, I really like this color a lot. I was going through the showroom today and having a look at them, and there's some really good colors in them. There's 10 colors all up, and good terminals. They're going to be pushed towards the yellow belly guys a lot more, but at the same time, they're definitely not too big for bass, and just a general search bait if you're fishing impoundments. So I'm really excited about them. I'm going to be filling my box up with those. So
they are insanely good. I have to, there's a few things that you like to keep secret. I try and tell as much as what I can. I'm on this show, every Monday night for 40 odd weeks of the year, telling people how I do things and how I don't and whatnot. You always like to keep that one or two things up your sleeve, or you've just burnt me on that one, because they are in the favourites box, sure.
Yeah, well, that's me with crankbaiting. I kind of wanted to keep that quiet, but over the last couple of years, it's kind of got out a bit, and there's just something about crankbaits that they just, bass in general, just eat them, and they're not worried about size, they're not worried about action, they're not worried about like how aggressive they are or anything, and they just eat them. So
yeah, why do the trollers catch the fish?
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. So
that's all good. Let's have a look. Let's make sure that you to go in the chance to win the last prize that we're giving away tonight. You have to jump over to the Diawa Facebook page, and there's a pin post about the bait junkies somewhere near the top of that. Tom will have been on there and written a comment tonight. You have to get in there to write your comments to be chosen for that. But we're not going to draw that right now. I would expect everyone that's got on here tonight and asked a question or, any of that sort of stuff, make sure that you go over and you give Dyer a bit of a look on their Facebook page. At least go out and buy some product, because shit, $500 worth of plastic, that's just awesome. I can't say enough how easy that is for me. Now, going through, I've got some more. Hey, Mick's on. He said to say g'day.
G'day.
Mad.
Sorry, I was just making sure that Tom done the post. I'm just having a look to make sure.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'm just looking through the questions while we're chatting. Sonny wants to know, will you be coming out with a bait junkie rub or scent or spray?
The freshwater prodigy. There's been no talks of it yet, but I'm not going to rule that out, because we definitely have our scents and everything on our plastics. That's a lot of food for thought there, because I was just thinking what I'd probably do if I made a scent, if it's going to be a lip balm kind of product or a spray product. So that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure, but I do have a little bit of exciting news. There's because of just the industry growing and whatnot, we ended up having to look for a new product guy over at Diawa, so to look after rods and accessories and whatnot. And I threw my hat in the ring, and I ended up getting that. So I won't be able to help you out with scents, but I'll be able to help you out with rods very soon. So
that's exciting. So yeah. So how quickly is that all going to come about?
So I got word the other week about it, and it'll be. I think we're just waiting to fill my position now. We've talked to a guy down in South Australia. I think it is one of Tommy's good mates, and or not one of his good mates, but one of the people that he knows, and he's been talking to Tommy, and he originally went for my role. I think it was back when it was advertised. But due to some circumstances and not being able to move and whatnot, he wasn't able to do it. And but he's available now, so I think it's going to be more so when he starts. So it'll be more September, I think, just so I don't leave the marketing guys in the lurch too much. But yes, it's exciting. So I'll be looking after rod development and accessories. So accessories are being luggage, clothing, pliers, screwdrivers, whatever, pretty much. So it's
that's so cool.
Yeah,
congratulations, well done. That's really cool. From humble beginnings, from those days back at Kenya when you dropped off the back of the boat to
don't bring that up, Corey. I actually forgot about that until you just brought that up, Ben.
That'll go down in folklore, that one.
That was not good. That was a grand final too.
It was a story. I don't generally. I tend not to try and bag anyone out, of course, but the story is told a lot. But it's always no names mentioned. I know a guy that did this at a grand final.
That's this guy.
That's this guy.
That was that was a learning curve. Not to pull your fish out of the live well and have your weigh bag or your bucket on the back deck. Have it in the cockpit. So
that's it. Have it in the lowest part of And when I talk to people about it, and they think, "Oh no, it'll never happen to me," but it does happen.
It definitely does. You can definitely have a good day on the water and then come back and then watch a fish just slow-mo swim away that's supposed to be getting weighed in. So it'll definitely happen to you.
Especially I think that one was one of the Bass-Tastic's bigger grand final payouts too, wasn't it? It was one of the big ones.
It was. I think it was what year was that? I think was that the year that Terry won, or was that the year that Dylan won? I can't remember.
I think it was the year Terry won.
Yeah, so I think I got big bass, which was still suspicious because I don't think I would caught fish if everything didn't happen like that. But yeah, that was a massive learning curve. So not again. And I definitely got cold clips as well that float. So
yeah, and stick them in the gobs of the fish and say But listen, we're just looking through, see if there's any quick ones that we can sort of answer. Bryce wants to know, in your opinion, what is Diawa's best cod-based plastic setup?
Yep. So to be completely honest, firstly, I don't do a massive amount of cod stuff. But I've always thought that the 7-inch jerk shad, on its own, if you wind it quickly, whether you're fishing for tuna or something like that, or even just a hop for a snapper, it's got just a really kind of action on it. It's honestly like, I'm not saying this just because I work at Diawa, but it's got just a ridiculous action for a straight piece of plastic, and I've always thought that on the back of a chatterbait would be something. And because the chatterbait obviously has the artificial action of the chatter blade, and when you roll it, it's obviously vibrating and shaking through, and then that transfers through the bait. And I've just always thought that on a 7-inch jerk shad with just the tail wiggling, it would be subtle, but it would be enough to have a good action, I feel. And honestly, it would be that. But at the same time, with these new 6.2s, I'm like, I would just go these every day. These on the back of a chatterbait or a spinnerbait would be a no-brainer to me. That's what I'd be running. So
they look really, really cool. Can't go wait to get my hands on some for sure. Now we've got a heap of questions, but one really cool one here from one of the Bluefin fishing team members. Kevin's written there. Now, we're running a junior ambassador program. We announced it last week. We're giving away the boat for the 16 to 21-year-olds, a bit like the program that we won last year with Bill. So this is the second one. We're going to do the ladies towards the end of the year. But you've got a junior program that you're running as well. Is that right?
Yeah. So it's called DYFC. So it's Diawa Young Fishing Club. It's targeted at pretty much just at infants, pretty much all the way up to 18-year-olds and parents. So if you're not sure, if you're a parent with kids and stir crazy going in lockdown, or you want to get them into fishing but you're not sure where to start or how or anything like that, this is just for as much parents as it is for children and the younger people out there. So it's a program that we're starting up. So there's going to be some competitions. Not about the biggest fish. It's not about the longest fish or anything like that. There's no kind of stigma about it. It's more so, being out on the water, enjoying the water, getting out into the outdoors, and just experiencing it. And this is something that we're really passionate about. We've been talking to Japan about this for as long as I can think about it, because I know the guys, even before I started, have been trying to get this over the line with Japan. So in Japan, DYFC's been running for, I think it's like 17 years or something like that. And some of the first people or young people that were in the program now actually work for Daiwa Japan, and they've got their own kids in it and everything like that. So it's pretty crazy. And now we've ended up talking to them and working out that and they've let us kind of expand on that and bring it to Australia. And it's really exciting, to tell you the truth, because it's the next generation, and they're that are going to be taught to do it and just see how good it is at the end of the day. So it's really exciting. And yes, I'd really encourage going over there. Membership, you can join up, you get a brag mat, a hat, and stuff like that, and then you can go and take pictures. And there's a tournament for Waterway Warriors, it's called, or Eco Warriors, and it's just a general picture of being out on the water and having fun and stuff like that. And there's monthly prizes and stuff like that. There will be fishing comps or tournaments where fish size and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's just about getting out there, and that's the main thing. It's not about who's going to win or anything like that. It's about getting out there, being on the water, and enjoying it. So
that's the main
heaps of tips.
Yeah, what we all forget, and especially the older we get or the crankier we get becoming a tournament angler, we forget why we did it in the first place, for the fun and the enjoyment of it, and to get outside. So, for you guys, that's hats off to you to be running a junior program, for one, and two, to make it based around everyone can do it, to be able to help, to stereotype it a little bit. A single mother that's got 3 boys that she knows nothing about fishing. Well, there's this whole background to it to be able to help them out. So,
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That is exactly right. And the next generation, as everybody knows, it's everything. And the more that we can teach them, the better, I feel. And just getting out and enjoying what Australia has to offer, and I think is just a major part of it. So it's something that we're really excited about, and we've worked really, really hard about. And again, as COVID does, it kind of bugged everything up, and we were at AFTA. That's when the launch was originally going to be, and we were going to have lure painting and a stand and everything for it. But we've had to kind of pull that back and do an online launch. But yeah, we're really passionate about this. And again, if you guys have any questions or you want to know anything extra, or you're not sure about where to start, still just give us a call, and we're more than happy to help with all that type of stuff. So.
No, that is awesome. I really love the program and how it's set up, because that's what it's about, sharing and getting people out there. The more people that are out there, the more the industry grows. I mean, yes, lockdown's a pain in the ass, but Harry and I talk about it all the time. Are you getting enough exercise? Are you getting outside enough to be able to get those hours outside? anything's a benefit. I think for sure.
Yep, 100%.
Rebecca's talking about a baby. Sounds like something. Yes. Well, look. I think have you been able to jump across onto the Facebook page and see if anyone's actually jumped across there? Mainly Tom to start with. Did
he? Yeah. No, he did put a hint up in there. I see.
Yeah.
I see a few guys have commented and tagged you in it.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, there's a few.
Tag effort. Love your work, guys. Love your work.
You can definitely see the people who have been on there.
All right, so I'll go through the list so far. So we've got Shannon, who won the postcode prize earlier in the night. We've got Zach, who won Harry's Wheel, and we've got our third winner. Now, I have to say, how many people have got on there and given you a bit of a thumbs up, or has there been a few?
So the comments are they're very easy to see because the last person to comment on this post was a day ago, and then. And then the first person to comment was 17 minutes ago, and they tagged you, Corey. So everybody since
then,
I'm assuming is, and a lot of people are saying Chewin the Fat. So I think we'll just cut Tom's comment out wherever it is, and we'll just choose one of these guys because there's probably 20 comments on here, I'd say. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you want to actually, because you've got so many plastics there, do we want to do two prizes because they've done really well?
Yep. Yeah, let's do that. So
let's do that. So we've got Shannon for postcode, Zach for Harry's Wheel, and you pick two people at random off there.
Yeah. Let's go. Who can we go? Let's go Nigel Todd. He was the most recent.
Yeah.
He says, can't wait to get my hands on a pack of 6.2-inch paddle tails. So you'll definitely be getting a couple of packs of them, Nige.
There you go. Yep.
And let's go. Who else do we got here? We'll go Paul Langley.
Paul Langley.
Because he says, love the suggestion of belly rigged weight. That'd be killer for jewfish. So
there you go. Look at that
two,
one. Awesome. So we've got Paul and Nigel. We've got Zach and Shannon for the prizes tonight. That is absolutely awesome. We'll get those prizes out to you this week. Nigel and Paul, make sure you send me a message to Corey's Dam Fishing so I can forward it on to the guys. I need your address basically to go from there. But look, that's well over an hour, and we've still got heaps of people on and heaps of questions we could probably go through, mate. But I don't want to. I think we should probably touch base in a month or so after any new products or whatnot come out, and we'll get Tom on as well, and we'll have a double chat and go from there. See how you start your new job or new role within the thing. But if anyone is out there, what's the name of the junior program again?
So it's cool. So if you jump over onto Facebook, actually, because Facebook is it's there, and then if you just Google or if you Facebook DYFC, I'm just doing it now. That's why it's taking a little bit longer. So if you go DYFC, it'll be the first. It's the first one that pops up.
Yep.
Is it? I just need to check just to make sure it's not the Japanese one. No, sorry, that's the Japanese one. Let's not do that. I'll just make sure that it's. No, it's not. Where is it?
That's all right. What I will do.
Yeah. Anyways, it's there. So if you just keep an eye on our Diawa Facebook page.
Yep. And I'll put a post out on my page with it for anyone that is interested. They can just link through from there. I'll do that in the morning.
That'll be easiest.
Yeah. So as I said, winners tonight: Shannon Pumper for the postcode prize. Zach for Harry's Wheel, Nigel Todd and Paul Langley. Get me your addresses and I will send them through. Anything else we want to cover off before we go, mate? Everyone's already clicking off. They're saying thank you very much. It's all good when they always say thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm happy, mate. I think that's a good idea. In about a month's time, we'll jump on. I know Tommy will be more than keen. He loves talking to anybody and about the new products and anybody he can talk to about it. He's pretty stoked about. So yeah, I think that's a really good idea. We can jump on. There'll be a few more things released there, and we can go from there.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Now, I just have to say this before I do sign off for the night. We've got a couple of guys on there that have commented that they want to make 2032 fishing in the Olympics. So, I think we could do the big push for that and try and get the. What would we do? Would it be brim and bass, or are we just going for just bass?
Imagine that. I was going to say that before I saw the Olympic comment there, and. Imagine fishing the brown snake for bream in 32. That'd be pretty good.
All right, mate. Stay on. I'll talk to you off air. But thanks, everyone else, for watching again tonight. Thanks, everyone, for your questions. And more than thank you, Braden, for all of what you've done. Thank the guys at Diawa for all the prizes. Always great to have you on. We shall talk in a couple of weeks' time if something new comes out.
Beauty. Thanks, guys. Thanks for jumping